TYT Sports, everybody. Jason and Jeremy. There was a fight.
There was a fight.
Not the UFC fight. That's coming tomorrow. But there was a brawl between
on the football field.
Superman versus
Curtis Lofton-Man.
Curtis Lofton-Man.
Lofton-Man. If you guys didn't hear, Cam Newton here. Let's go over kind of what happened.
Let's see what happened.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. So Cam Newton, he scored a touchdown. I think it was like a 2-yard rushing touchdown, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Put the Panthers up 16-0. Tried to go and do the little Superman thing where he goes Superman. Then I think someone shoved him during the Supermaning process, and so he tried to do it again, I think. And
Yes.
Curtis Lofton was none too pleased. He shoved Cam. Cam shoved back. Then in like 10 seconds, the whole team's fighting everybody. It's punches are being thrown. It was a pretty intense brawl.
Two things. One, I am all for like just team brawls in any sport. And some people say
One thing I
it's
love
not
about
good
baseball
right,
is
the
that they
brawls.
just flood out of the dugouts. Like, we're all getting in on this.
Because they're all for
Even
backup.
the relief pitchers, like, we don't do shit the entire game. We're
When
going
they
to run
come
out
from the
there. Yeah, they come from the
bullpen.
bullpen.
And they're
running
full
out. We
steam
get to
ahead.
punch people. I know.
It's great. So some people think that, fights are bad for the sport. To me, I think it makes great TV. It's very entertaining.
I mean, football is one big fight with like an objective.
Yes.
So it's just kind of, they deviate somewhat from the objective, but it's the same basic thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Cam Jordan, Cam versus Cam, that's the one who...
Cam on Cam violence.
Cam on Cam violence, the first one who shoved Cam Newton after his Superman celebration. Then Curtis Lofton came in, shoved him again. They had some words.
Many words.
Some probably expletive words. Explicative. I don't even know.
like it.
Okay, we're making up words here on TYT Sports. But so that was like not the highlight of the game, but it was a brawl. First, we were saying, in football, when they're fighting each other, they're really just slapping each other's helmets.
Yeah, you don't really fear for player safety when
Yeah,
they're slapping at each other's, reinforced helmets. If anything, they're going to hurt their hands doing it.
Do you know what would have been great if one of the, while they're fighting, somebody grabs a face mask and the ref just comes in and just chucks a flag. And he's like, that's a 15-yard penalty. It's a face mask. We're going this way. So the actual story was Carolina destroyed the Saints.
There was a game.
There was a game.
That was in the first quarter. A game ensued. I mean, not much of a game, but a football game. Yes. So Carolina absolutely crushed the Saints. What is going on with the Saints?
I looked up some numbers.
You did.
The Saints at home are very much in every other home team year, at least since 2011. And 2011, 8-0 at home. Couldn't be beat in the Dome. Just perfection at home. 4-4 in 2012. 8-0 in 2013. And now I believe they're either 3-4 or 3-3 at home right now. And you go, it's like in every other year team, so there's no consistency for them at home.
Well, that's an interesting stat because you always hear Drew Brees is, he's unbeatable in the Dome. You can't beat Brees at home, but I guess
You can.
every other year you can. And
So
this is one of those years. I mean, the Saints there's something wrong with the Saints.
Right.
What are they? They're 5-8,
5-8.
but they're only a half game out for first place in the NFC South. Ladies and gentlemen, the NFC South. There was another team playing.
The Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. I mean, as much as you want to say, spell doomsday for the Saints, the Panthers put up a lot of points.
And they played
against a good team, and they
great
played
game.
a good game. Cam was unbelievable. I have a lot to say about Cam. His rookie season was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
He was the dual threat quarterback everyone thought he would be. Killed it on the ground, killed it in the air. Hasn't really lived up to that since. This year has been a particularly down year, especially because the Panthers aren't doing particularly well. But he had one monster game. His stats are, he was 21 for 33, 226 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, plus 83 yards on the ground, and a rushing touchdown. On the road. That's domination.
That is domination.
But the thing about that is you don't see this every week.
Inconsistent.
In fact, the last time they played the Saints, he was awful. I think he had a quarterback rating in the 30s or something. He was terrible. So that's always been my gripe with Cam, is that he has these flashes of brilliance and he has these outputs that, are really eye-popping, but then he'll just fall flat in his face the next game. And it's hard for a team to not know what you're getting out of your starting quarterback. Even when at the beginning of the season they had a great defense, that defense has some, injuries has affected it, and they've just become a little less overall powerful on the defensive end. And it's always something that I always think of Cam. I can't think of Cam as this amazing player, even when he puts up insane stats like this, because you don't see it with any type of consistency.
Right. We know he has the difference between talent and greatness. All great quarterbacks are talented. All talented quarterbacks aren't necessarily great. So he's always enjoyable to watch. The one thing with Cam, his press conferences, he really does put the team on his back. He takes the blame. He puts the team
on his back.
He puts the team on his back, though. He takes the responsibility. And, of course, it's a lot on the quarterback to take that responsibility. There's something about his demeanor in a press conference that he knows that he has to play better. And when he plays like this, there's not many defenses, even those that are better than the Saints, that can stop that kind of drive, that kind of determination to win. And, again, talent doesn't always mean you're going to be great, but great quarterbacks are always talented.
But I mean, at the end of the day, as a fan, as a coach, as a teammate, it's nice to see that he goes up there on the podium and he takes all the responsibility for the team's losses, but at the same time, actions speak louder than words, and you want to see him put forth a consistent effort on the field every week, more than just saying he needs to do that after the fact.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see how they finish out the season, because who knows, they could make the playoffs.
They can. The NFC South is literally
it's up for grabs.
It's up for grabs.
Unfortunately, one of those teams has to make the playoffs per the rules of the NFL.
Has to.
They have to. So one of them's going to do it.
So here we go. We're going to go into the NFL time machine, all the way back to when Peyton Manning was wearing a Colts jersey. Are we out of the time machine?
Yeah.
We're out of time.
That was my time.
That was the transition to the time machine.
back.
Okay.
Well,
Peyton Manning's in a Colts jersey. Okay. It's September 6th, 2007. This is the last time the Saints got blown out this bad. It's one of the worst losses in the Drew Brees, Sean Payton era. This is not Saints history, because you can go all the way back to the Aints with the bags on their heads. But
I mean, the Saints' history is full of a lot of bad losses.
It's rough. But under the Brees Payton era, it was a 41-10 loss. Peyton Manning was the quarterback of the Colts at that point, and that's the other biggest blowout in Saints history in Brees Sean Payton history until this game, which the final was.
I think it was. Did we pull up a final on that? It was.
We didn't.
It was 41-10 when we stopped watching.
41-10 when we stopped.
Probably something close to that.
Right. So it's going to go down as one of their worst losses in the Peyton
At
Brees.
home.
At home.
At the end of the season against a division opponent, and technically a really meaningful game, even though they're both under 500.
It's frustrating. The NFC South is atrocious. We know that, but one team's going to come out of there. I still somehow think the Saints come out of there. Even after this terrible loss, this is the time to buy high on the Saints. Maybe they learned something, but maybe they can get it together. If I'm going to put my money on one quarterback in that division, it's got to be Drew Brees.
Why would you do that?
Because for me...
Well, yeah, sorry. I guess, yeah, if you that's the obvious choice, because you have Josh McCown,
Cam Newton,
and
Matt Ryan,
who hasn't looked remotely good this year.
So, to me, I think a lot of people are going to jump on Cam Newton had a great game, but we know he's inconsistent.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. You can't put money on him for a whole season.
All right, so...
You can't on Brees, even if he looks this bad.
You can't unbreeze?
On Brees.
Oh, they said unbreeze.
Why would I say that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes we make up words here on TYT Sports.
That's true.
We are allowed to.
You did give the disclaimer. Yeah.
So, guys, check the links below. We got the fight links, Vines, every which way we can get it for you. Greg Olson also made a ridiculous catch. We'll put that in the link below. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It does not cost a damn thing. And we'll see you next week on TYT Sports.